Like the Ed Show.
Yes. Okay. Can you hear me?
I think so.
Okay. So, how much do you know about the Black Lives Matter movement?
How much do I know about it? You want to know what I know about it?
Yes.
I know moderate to low amount.
Okay, what do you know?
Well, the question is, do all lives matter or do Black lives matter? Right?
Yes.
And the argument for Black Lives Matter is that Black lives are in more jeopardy. Support grammar, but Black lives are in jeopardy. They are more likely to go to jail. They're more likely to get killed. They're more likely to get hurt by police. The argument that all lives matter include police officers, primarily, who are also often in the line of fire. The difference is that they are Black people are born into their lives, whereas cops choose to be police officers.
Okay. And where, like, the knowledge that you know about the Black Lives Matter movement, where did you get your sources from?
NPR and presidential debate.
N or M? PR.
National Public Radio.
Is that like a Democratic or Republican or neutral?
I'd say neutral, but some might say Democratic.
Okay. Okay. Did you get any other sources?
No.
Okay.
Just those two. National Public Radio and the Democratic debate.
Oh, the Democratic debate.
Yeah, they talked about the Democratic debate.
Okay. The one that we watched, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, that's not true. They mentioned it as well in that movie. Attention White People? Is that what it's called?
Attention White People. Oh, Dear White People.
Dear White People, yeah.
Okay.
That's also a source, I suppose. It's a good movie.
Okay. You said earlier that, or like the argument is that Black lives are like in jeopardy. They're more likely to end up in jail. They're more likely to be the subject of police brutality. Why do you think that is?
I didn't say that it was police brutality. Sure.
Oh, do you think?
Agreed.
Do you think Black people are more likely to be subject to police brutality?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
Why?
Why do I think that is?
Yes.
Black people are often poorer than white people.
Like, statistically speaking?
Statistically speaking. Black people seem to have a bit of a complex about succeeding in life as well, from my opinion, from like what I know.
Okay. What do you mean by like a complex?
So there's there's a big movement a couple of years ago, no snitching.
Snitches get stitches?
Right.
Oh.
Snitches get stitches. Exactly. I don't know what it was. But that's a perfect example of black people, like, just, no, we're not going to try to help each other. We're not going to try to, like, make the world a better place, but we deserve people breaking the law and hurting each other. kind of mentality. White people would never have a like snitches get stitches campaign. That would just never happen. Um, it's not a racial thing. It's a cultural thing, right? So people in Africa also would never do a snitches get stitches campaign either. People in Africa loathe African Americans.
Okay.
It's true. Yeah,
I know.
they hate rappers and all that stuff because people in Africa aren't anything like that whatsoever. They're very conservative.
So would you say black people have a lack of like community, like a lack of sense of community?
No, definitely not a lack of community, but they do have a lack of like
A lack of like togetherness, or
no, it's not a lack of togetherness. It's a lack of they don't feel comfortable participating with like they together like in a black community. Black people they love each other and they're happy together and so on. It's a matter of like playing with the rest of everybody.
so it's almost xenophobic.
Yes, xenophobic is the perfect word for that.
Oh.
Yes. I suppose it might be a little strong. But
Yeah. Well, I put almost in there.
yeah, almost as important.
um, okay. Why do you think the news only report on black people when it comes to police brutality? Because surely not 100% of police brutality incidents occur with black people. Or is it 100%?
Police brutality is unfortunately much higher with black people than it is with any other race. That doesn't mean that black people deserve it. It just means that they're more likely to hit the black person,
Mm-hmm.
right? To be fair, unfortunately, black people are often, well, there are a lot more black people in jail. The question is, are black people more likely to do a crime, to commit a crime? I don't know the answer to that. It's really hard to tell because how many white people get away and there'd be no record.
Okay. And yeah, that can probably go into like a lot of circumstance where, like it's kind of random, a lot of that. There's been a couple times where like I've been pulled over, as we know,
Yeah.
but like I've gotten away every time without any ticket or anything, because I've always had like a super nice guy, cop man, or he's been black, so he feels like he's part of my community. We're buddies, or part of the circumstance may just be like I was taught to just like speak, like how to speak nice, to the cop.
Your ability to communicate with a police officer goes a long way.
Agreed.
So that could be it too, right? I suspect a police officer who meets somebody who only speaks Spanish is a lot more lenient and would get somebody on the radio who speaks Spanish, like they don't feel threatened by it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if the person speaks Ebonics and they don't understand them, but they can tell it's English on some level, would probably not call in a translator and would just get frustrated.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Why do you think black people are stereotyped as bad people? I don't mean it that way, but like everybody thinks as of the stereotypical black person as like some rapper who's like always causing trouble with the police and like stealing, robbing, shooting up something, that kind of thing. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because it's just unfortunately what happens, or do you think there's some underlying cause?
No, the media. Well, on some level, black people portray themselves that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't entirely understand, though. I don't know.
Okay. And with the media, do you think that the media plays like a very important role, like to you specifically? And I say that I want you to consider like your like you individually, who um, who's in the position that you are, compared to someone who is a lot poorer, or someone less
fortunate. Yeah, no, absolutely. The media would have a bigger effect. I mean, the media that I pay attention to is NPR and Reddit, right? And so Reddit is not, the stories are not chosen by an editor; they're chosen by the public.
Mm-hmm.
Well, by editors, I suppose, people who go to the website. Whereas somebody who listens to the radio to get their media, or watches Fox News or etc., is listening to content, and they're getting content that is prescribed for them and probably slanted.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, everybody who watches the evening news would have a very different sense of the world than I do.
And would you say that because Reddit is not edited, or basically goes one way or the other because of opinion, do you think Reddit would be better than the news on TV because of you're getting I'm not sure, but correct me if I'm wrong. You're getting both sides, or at least you're more likely to, Democrats and Republicans, and you're getting just everybody's experiences all into one.
I don't think you're getting both sides of the story now.
Or do you think the people who post to Reddit are just posting what they know from the media?
No, the people who frequent Reddit are most likely scientists and geek types.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a sampling of the world at large. It's a sampling of extremely educated people.
Mm-hmm.
And extremely educated people are more likely to be Democrats. And Republicans are usually poor. And so, no, it's mostly Democratic content. There's some pro-Republican content, but it's very little compared to none. There's got to be 100-to-1 Bernie Sanders posts for every pro-Republican post. I haven't seen one pro-Hillary.
There. Okay. Okay. I think this is my last question. Which is, what do you think the Black Lives Matter movement has done to other ethnicities? Did it offend or did it inspire?
word offend is too strong.
Would you say it like goes
I think
both
it makes
ways?
people think about it, though. It kind of opens a conversation. Right? It makes people think about it. Which is, what do you mean does it go both ways?
Well, my school is very diverse. Like, you have a lot of culture there. So, and I talk to everybody at school. I'm not shy to talk to anybody at school. And I would see myself differently as to what like the stereotypical black person would be, because I'm not so, I guess, xenophobic or, yeah, I'm not that. For me, I would say it would go both ways, and for this, I would say the offense turns into inspiration because the Black Lives Matter thing, that opens the discussion of like color blindness, like everybody's the same, but then everybody at that point is going to be like, no, like our culture matters, and it just won't be black people. Although it's true that Black Lives Matter, but to say that every culture life matters, it's kind of still doing like a colorblind thing, and so it kind of becomes almost like competition, for like whose life matters the most, and so I think the offense, if anybody does get offended, I think that will turn it like that's inspiration. Like, hey, my culture, that matters. I don't think anybody's gonna be like, Black Lives Matter less than mine. It's just that mine matters also, not just black.
Okay.
So it's cyclical. Like it.
Do you think that Hispanic people are coming out with a Hispanic Lives Matter campaign? Are they inspired to start their own races? Is there some people who are in a White Lives Matter campaign? They will create a White Lives are more important campaign.
Well, I've researched this, and Black Lives Matter has been around since 2013. So it's been like 3 years now. So I feel like there's like always at least one person. Like somebody must have done, Mexican Lives Matter or White Lives Matter. I think everybody's done it, but it just hasn't turned into this huge thing. Just because you don't really see anything happening with Hispanic people in the police or white people in the police, and then it goes back with the media. Like what the masses see is almost always with black people.
So, back in the 80s, even earlier, the 70s, being gay was frowned upon, like, more than you can imagine. There wasn't a single celebrity who was gay. There was nobody in Hollywood. There was no actors. I mean, there was some who were gay, but nobody admitted openly they were gay.
Freddie Mercury.
He never admitted it, not until close to his death. He didn't come out of the closet. He was one of the first ones who did in the late 80s.
Oh, okay.
So there was lots of clearly like Liberace was clearly gay, right? He's sparkly and he's playing on the piano. I love you, everybody. Like he was just flaming obviously gay, but nobody would ever admit that because their sales would go down dramatically if they said they were gay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so gay people, rather than just sitting around like organized protests and gay pride parades and created the rainbow banner and like marketed the shit out of gay people are important and it's okay to be gay. And all these people slowly started coming out being gay. I remember Roseanne Barr came out as being gay, and that was really shocking to me. Like they turned it around. They went from being like nobody loves you to everybody loves you, right? And that's still not, maybe it's not that way today, but it's a lot better. The average public person today thinks that it's okay to be gay, right? If somebody's gay, you're not going to hate them because of it, which was definitely not true in the 70s. In the 70s, get out of town. Like, do not live in the city. You're not allowed to live in this town if you're going to be gay.
And that's like.
So that's awesome. Take handicapped people, right? The average public perception of handicapped people is actually pretty positive, right? If you're in a wheelchair, people are like, yeah, we should try to help those people. They're important too, on some level, but they've done nothing for themselves. There's no handicap parades. There's no anything. And when somebody's in a wheelchair, people are still constantly looking at them. Like, do you really need to be in that wheelchair? Can you walk? You know, people kind of avoid them a little bit. Nobody's like gonna come up and make friends with somebody in a wheelchair. There's still a lot of issues that handicapped people have that, like, handicapped people have always been seen somewhat. Like, people are a lot more, people want to be friendly to handicapped people, but the perception is nowhere near as good, and it's stayed pretty much flat, right? So gay people has gotten better over time, handicapped people have been flat, right? Mm-hmm. And so black people, what's inspiring about the Black Lives Matter is that black people are starting to finally realize that marketing themselves is important, right? They're doing today what the gay people were doing in the 70s and 80s.
Do you think that will be like a spark that ignites the flames that is just everybody just saying, you know, our lives are important too, or no? Do you think it'll just be...
No. It's about having black people parades and showing off what black people can do and how awesome black people are. That's the part that's inspiring.
Nobody else will do that?
No. It's not about showing off the rest of the races.
All the other races believe...
Nobody wants a Jewish History Month, right?
I guess.
Nobody wants...
Miss Gluck wouldn't like that.
Yeah. No, but nobody wants a white parade, right?
Okay.
That's not what everybody wants.
So everybody wants to see, like, the black people prevail because they deserve it. Like,
stand up for yourself.
Yes. Know your rights.
Yes.
All right.
The same way the rest of us would wish that the handicapped people would also stand up for themselves. The problem that handicapped people have is they weren't born that way, for the most part. And so they're dealing with severe emotional consequences because they were in a car accident or cancer or something, and they used to be different. And now they're having a hard time identifying themselves. They're very depressed.
So it's
they have issues. This is the bottom line.
Okay.
Right? Gay people are like, fuck it, we were born this way. Let's make this world a better place. Let's teach everybody.
Okay.
They have a very positive attitude, and they've done an amazing job. People get married now. It would not have happened if the last 30 years hadn't happened.
Yeah. I do actually have one more question. Sorry. Do you think the media has changed? No. What do you think has changed for the individual who makes up the masses, who, you know, create these trends of what's cool and what's not cool, what society believes in and all of that stuff? What do you think has changed from the past 30 years? Because generation that I'm in is where, like, you know, supportive of the gay people, which I am, but my parents, for example, would not be because they're from a different generation. So what do you think changed between then and now?
Your generation I don't know if they're a bunch of sellouts or if they're just not old enough yet to make a difference. It seems to me like the teenage generation currently just like what's on the radio, what's being advertised to me, right? Basically, the propaganda that the industrial complex produces. Hey, teenagers, eat this up, and teenagers are just like, oh, I want to eat everything. I want to eat as much as I can.
Yeah.
Give me burgers and fries. Give me burgers and fries. What?
Yeah.
Oh, I should eat more Burger King. Okay, I'll eat that too. Right.
Okay.
So they're not like fighting it, or they're not thinking for themselves. They're not like, hey, this isn't right. I don't care what TV has to say. This is what I think should happen. All the people that I see in Times Square and whatever, they're all in their 20s, right? Teenagers, from my perspective, haven't done anything yet. Which was not true in the 70s, right? It was true in the 80s. 80s and 90s, my teenage generation was also totally nonchalant, didn't give a shit. But in the 70s, teenagers were out protesting the Vietnam War. Like, they were out on the street, like, trying to change the world. So your question was about your generation, or about the current people who are in their 20s right now?
The difference between then and now.
Because of Black Lives Matter? Or just in general?
Brownie.
Yes.
I mean, it's
We can edit this part out. It's cool.
Yeah. I'll come and help you in a bit. Is all the rest of the work done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You just need my phone then?
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Riker? Where'd you go? There you go.
Okay. Close the door.
Well, how have things changed for the individual?
I mean, because
Not very much, unfortunately.
for me, yes, I do like the stuff that comes on the radio. There are some songs that I don't like, but some songs I just have to listen to once and then I like it. Other songs that I like, it's just a matter of hearing it enough times and then just learning the words.
You totally missed my point.
No, I'm saying no, but like.
The music that's on the radio is created by the industrial complex, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It's a machine that makes that.
Yes, I know.
Okay. That machine basically prints money for people.
But I listen to other types of music. Like I listen to some of the songs that I listen to were on the radio before, but not on the radio anymore. And I agree because I agree that like teenagers these days, like all they care about is just what's new. As soon as the next social media comes out, everybody's gonna leave Kik and go to that. Same thing with MySpace, Facebook, and the same is gonna happen with Twitter and Kik.
Fuck. David, what's important right now? What's important in the world?
I'm saying with teenagers.
Exactly. Teenagers have no fucking clue.
No, okay. What's
No
important?
idea what's important.
What's important in the world is ISIS right now.
Vaguely.
That's subjective. Anyways,
What's important for this country right now? What's important? It's going to happen very soon.
the election.
Yes. How many teenagers do you think paid any attention whatsoever to the previous debates? Very little. Totally uninformed. Totally don't care. And why is that?
Because they only care about what's
On the radio. Right. Are any of the songs on the radio about what's important?
no.
They're all created by one company. Right? All the radio stations you listen to are all the same company that makes multiple radio stations. And they invest heavily in those candidates. Hundreds of millions of dollars. And they keep all the information off the radio. Why do they do that, David? Why do they care so much about who wins, but absolutely have nothing whatsoever on the radio about it?
Because the people on the radio are not teenagers. They are adults who do care. It's just that like what they are selling, their main target is teenagers, and the teenagers don't care about politics.
No. It's because they're trying to sell records. And talking about politics does not sell records.
That's what I said.
You said the people who listen to the radio care.
No, I'm saying the people who control, like the company that controls all the music.
Yeah.
Those people are adults who care about the election.
Yeah.
But the product that they're selling, those that target teenagers, the teenagers don't care.
They want to make more money on iTunes.
Yes.
And how to make more money on iTunes? You release more Iggy Azalea tracks. That's how you make more money.
Yeah. Iggy Azalea. Alright.
Okay, we done?
We're done.
Okay.
Can you help me edit this?
What do you mean? You can edit it on YouTube now. The world's